West Michigan is an amazing place, and in this area there is a ton of things to do. And today we're going to spend a few minutes focused on my favorite things to do with my family here in West Michigan. So a lot of you probably know this is going to be a completely subjective list. There's so many great things to do that it's hard to cover them all. So we're going to spend a few minutes today, and I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit about some of my favorites, especially over the years with two young children growing up here in West Michigan. Having places to go with your kids, having things to do, I think is super important for a lot of buyers out there. And so let's dive in to the favorite things of my family here in West Michigan. Number one, this is definitely a list made up by me and put in order by me. So I'm gonna go with my favorite things. And number one, without a doubt for me, is the Children's Museum here in West Michigan. And right now, they are actually undergoing a renovation, expansion, and they're adding more to it. My kids have gotten a little bit old for it. It's not as exciting today as it was for them in the past, but that being said, I still love it. Great place, right downtown, just next to Rosa Parks Circle over there is the Children's Museum. And this place is set up for so much fun. It is a complete hands-on museum, and it doesn't just go through and give exhibits about science and physics and all those amazing things, but it also gives history of the United States, history of Grand Rapids itself and the development here in West Michigan. They teach about the Grand River. One of the cool things about it, without a doubt, is the fact that the exhibits are constantly changing and rotating. While certain things do typically stay the same, like the completely set up play area of a grocery store with just so much stuff donated by Meijer. Thank you, Meijer, especially because they have the little pony horse that goes through, no charge for the kids. They could just hop on there and ride that silly thing till their hearts are content. Now, of course, there is a meat counter in there. There is a little pizza oven. There's a place for the kids to sit down and play. A lot of those fixtures stay the same. There's also a complete post office with a million packages and different stuff for the kids. A lot of Little Tykes cars that they can cruise all around the museum. And then, of course, the second level has so many different things, including the music exhibits and all the different transforming ones, including one of my favorites again, a beehive that is actively working, and the hive is built into the building and you can see it through the glass, and those bees go out throughout the day, collect pollen, and continue to grow the hive. So super cool, super fun. If you have children, even if you don't, it's probably worth at least a one-time trip to check it out. If you've never seen it, definitely look at the Grand Rapids Children's Museum. Number two, and this is absolutely one of my favorites too. This is a little bit outside of Grand Rapids, just a little bit south, but without a doubt, Yankee Springs State Park is definitely an amazing place to go and to check out. There's over 56,000 acres of forest and trails. There's lakes, there's the beach, there's just so much to do. One of the most underutilized things here in Michigan, and especially here in West Michigan, is absolutely the park systems. There's so much money, time, energy put into it. Couple of the things that we love to do when it comes to Yankee Springs. Number one, there is so many hiking trails, I couldn't even tell you the amount. Hopefully somebody will look this up and put it here into the video, but there's just miles and miles of trails. On top of it, if you're into bike riding, there's a ton of bike trails. If you have little kids like me too, though, there are paved trails. So if maybe somebody at some point was on training wheels and looking to get a little more steady on the bike, they don't have to worry about trying to navigate any of the backwoods trails. They can still have a great place to go through. Of course, there's definitely a beach there, and there's actually a peninsula where there's a boat launch, and if you like fishing, it's a great place to go just the same. Or maybe you're interested in maybe an afternoon on the pontoon boat and grilling and listening to music and hanging out. Definitely a fun place to go with a ton of facilities, a ton of different parking areas. There's obviously the main park entrance, but even as you go around the outskirts of the park, there's a million little small areas that you can pull in, access the trailheads, and see some of the areas that are definitely less populated with people as you explore explore the amazing terrain that exists in Yankee Springs. Definitely love it, enjoy it there. And of course, if you're into fishing, there is more than just the main lake. There's a ton of small places to fish, and they're just the same. Number 3 on my list, and this is definitely a nostalgia one, I still love it though, is Craig's Cruisers. Craig's Cruisers is just a small local family fun center. They focus on a ton of indoor exhibits as well as some outdoor. I believe when it started, it probably started out as like mini golf and some of the basics, but it's grown to an amazing level. And they have so many things in there. I'm going to start at the very beginning with some of my kids' favorites. Of course, the arcade. The arcade is huge. They have a ton of different stuff from VR to some of the classic games in there. Of course, it's also known for the go-kart tracks, and there's 2. There's the indoor go-karts, and then there's the outdoor go-karts. So you can go-kart all through the winter. My kids love it in there. It's all set up like a really cool racetrack. There's also bumper boats outside on it, and they've added a couple of new attractions outside that I have to admit that I haven't been on. One of them looks like it's some kind of giant purple salt shaker roller coaster type of thing. Definitely looks amazing. Inside, there's mini roller coasters for the kids. There's a ninja course. There's a whole trampoline area in case they want to just go buck wild, bouncing and doing flips on the trampoline. There's a foam pit inside there just the same too. And last but not least, there is the pizza buffet inside of Craig's Cruisers. Definitely a really fun place. Kids' birthday parties, all kinds of stuff that we've been there for, and it never gets old inside Craig's Cruisers, and they're always changing up certain aspects about it just the same, keeping it fresh. Little known fact, it was actually recently purchased by Cedar Fair, the company that owns Cedar Point. So it really makes me interested to see what's going to happen on that property as it goes forward, because I think it's going to continue to expand and continue to bring in a ton of amazing attractions. Number 4 on the list that I definitely think is worth taking a look at, definitely a fun place to go, a lot of variety, the Van Andel Arena. Whether you're going there for a Griffins game, or you might be going there for a concert, or we actually went there for monster trucks one time. The Van Andel Arena is an awesome time. It's super fun. It's a great adventure for the kids. One of the things I like about it too, quite honestly, it's not this giant super mega arena. Is it one of the biggest ones here in West Michigan? Yeah, but it's just the right size. It's not like you have to go through and you're waiting hours in line and it's a big hassle to go in and get your seats. It's so well designed, it's so well run, it's always an easy time between parking and getting into the Van Andel Arena. Concerts we've seen there, it's always a great time. Kids events, I think Disney on Ice was there about 3 or 4 years ago. Recently there's been some big comedy shows in there. Bert Kreischer was there just over the fall and drew in a humongous crowd. So tons of stuff to do at the Van Andel, but it's really a great experience going through it there, and you got to appreciate it. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. There's so many things to choose from, so many events there. You can go online and see the whole entire schedule, but well worth an evening out and well worth checking out, especially when it's paired with some of the amazing restaurants around downtown just the same. Last but not least, for us country folk out there, Robinette's. Now, Robinette's started as an apple orchard. It's also a winery. It's just a really, really cool local icon place to visit. What do my kids love about it? Obviously, the apple orchard, right? There's tons of apples, there's tons of cider, there's the fresh made donuts, all that type of stuff every day. Certain time of the year, you can actually look in and see them pressing the cider. They have the production area where it's like opened up through windows to the outside. You can definitely check that out. Of course, Robinette's does have hayride. My kids don't care as much, but my wife loves the gift shop in there because there's a ton of handmade, crafted type of stuff, from more art type of stuff where it's painted or decorated items to shawls and knitted type of stuff. I don't know, the gift shop might not be my number one spot, but it really is. It does have a lot of cool things inside there to check out. You also have the bounce pillow, which if you've never been on a bounce pillow, it's actually super cool. It's just like this giant inflatable bag, and they have it all into a big bed of sand so kids can jump on it like a trampoline, go buck wild, take some little falls, take some little hits, and still be okay. My kids loved it. Even today, they still love it. Obviously, this is definitely one of the fun ones if you have active kids out in the area. So worth checking out for a ton of different reasons, whether it's the food, of course, amazing wine at Robinette's. They have their own, plus they sell some other local wines and stuff inside there. So give it a shot, check it out. If you haven't been there before, or even if you haven't been there in a few years, they're constantly updating between the Apple area and the barn where they sell the gifts and have all that stuff. And it is definitely worth checking out as you're going forward in 2025. So there you have it, at least my favorite things to do around the area. I got to admit, I'm curious. What are some of your favorite things to do here in and around Grand Rapids? Go ahead, leave them in the comments. I would love to know. And if you are thinking about making a move to Grand Rapids, reach out to me. My information is in the contact below, and I would absolutely love to help you on your journey. And if you got value out of this video, if you've liked some of the things on this channel, help me grow by going ahead and hitting the like button and the subscribe button. That way I can keep you up to date on the new videos that are coming out every single week.